Hello, hello. I am back to help you do this thing called life. We've been talking about Jesus, his emotions, his temptations, his responses to people, his responses to life. And we have been trying to examine what he did to win because he won every time. So today we're going to continue with where we were. And I told y'all there may be times when I depart from one area and go to somewhere else because I'm kind of trying to follow it throughout the Gospels. And, every Gospel doesn't cover everything. So, anyway, we are continuing in the 13th chapter of John. And verse 2 says, "And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him," him being Jesus. Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he was come from God and went to God. And we're just going to stop right there. I just kind of want to talk about Judas for a minute. It's going to become apparent a little bit later that to the disciples that Jesus knew very well who would betray him. And yesterday when we talked, it said that he knew he had loved all of them throughout his ministry. And it says he loved them to the very end. We talked about that yesterday. Well, today talks about, it had entered it had entered Judas's heart to betray Jesus. And in different gospels, I saw where it said it different ways. Some of it said, once Judas had met with those leaders and decided he knew he was going to betray Jesus, it said that he began to look for an opportunity to betray him. It says that he agreed with them to betray Jesus. And sometimes people may not use those words, but it may be like, hey, I know about so and so because I used to be around them, or I've seen them, or I know about them. But at the end of the day, the part that stood out to me is that it said Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands and that he was come from God and went to God. You have to remember, despite who or what comes or goes, your life is in his hands. During a most difficult season in my life, wow. As a matter of fact, it was 10 years ago. One of the most difficult seasons in my life. And oh my gosh, the emotional pain that I was in and the mental struggles that the pain caused from people, from people, from people that I loved and trusted and all that good stuff. And there was a day when, oh my gosh, I just felt like I was losing it. Like I really needed God to help me. And I was going down the road because I had been saying, God, you just got to speak to me some kind of way. Speak to me, Lord. And I was going down the road, y'all. And I heard Marvin Sapp's song, He Has His Hands on You. Oh my gosh. I think I literally pulled over because I was crying so hard. Because that song just brought me such peace. Assurance. Maybe I should say assurance more than peace. Because I still can't say that I was in that perfect peace. But it brought me assurance that his hand was on me. And that scripture that I read, John 13, what was it, 2 and 3, it says that Jesus knew he had come from God and that he was going back to God. If you're saved, that's what you can say. And there is nothing that anybody can ever do to you without permission from God. I actually feel sorry for some of the people who do betray us. But like I told you yesterday, there are certain situations even now where I feel distance and it doesn't feel good to my flesh, but my spirit knows it's necessary. And so just like Jesus forgave, y'all, you can't hate the people. You can't walk in unforgiveness. You have to understand that whatever, y'all, there are some things, and I think I shared this not too long ago, that there was a time when I knew that there was somebody who did not mean my pastor well. And I talked to him about it. I'm like, something is not right with this. All kinds of alarms were going off in me. And what he reminded me of was that some things don't happen without other things happening. And he said, no Judas, no cross. No cross, no salvation, no resurrection. So y'all, as difficult as maybe it's this season for you, maybe it was the last season, know that there are some things that have to be before other things can take place. Some things, somebody has to be used to do the thing that's going to push you right on into destiny, that's going to cause that door to open. Everything isn't going to be flowers and look like blessings on top. It's going to take some bad stuff to make some good things happen. It's going to take some uncomfortable things to make destiny happen. I say it like this, and I'm going to try to hurry up. I say it like this all the time. Go in your kitchen and eat a spoon of flour. It's disgusting. Eat a spoon of sugar. You might upchuck. Eat you a teaspoon of vanilla. I mean, just take that egg and throw it back. All of that is disgusting, right? Alone. But when you put it all together and you make that cake, it's going to be banging, right? Your destiny takes all of that. It takes some really nasty stuff, some really ugly stuff, some really hurtful stuff, and some good stuff. But it's got to be all mixed up in there together. And it's going to produce something so good. So just remember, don't let a season make you back up, okay? It's necessary. Whatever is going on in your life, wherever you find yourself right now, God has his hands on you. Okay? He has his hands on you. There's nothing that's happening that can take you out. Even if it takes you down, you getting back up. Okay? Some things are necessary in order for other things to take place. Hang in there. Don't you give up. Don't you give in. Keep your eye on what God said is going to happen for you. This has been One More Minute with Marcy. I'll be back tomorrow with another moment of momentum producing motivation. Until then, stay encouraged. And remember, you got to flutter before you can fly. But flying is in your future. I love y'all.